Greetings, everyone. DFG. Hope you guys are doing well. Hey, guys, I want to take a moment to talk to you about the difference between blessings and temptations. Okay, and my motivation for sharing this message with you is because yesterday I had a visit from Satan. And what do you say? What do you mean a visit from Satan, DFG? You know, Satan manifests himself in many, many ways. If you go back and look into the book of Jasher, you'll see many examples of how he made himself an old man, he made himself a young man, he made himself, a young woman. Many, many other manifestations of him if you look in the book of Jasher. But that shouldn't strike you as strange. And some of you guys say, well, I don't have a Bible that has the book of Jasher in it. Well, if you don't, that's fine. But if you had if you had the 1611 Bible, as we talked about before, you would see it. But also, you don't have to have the book of Jasher to see the manifestations of Satan, because even Yeshua said that, beware of wolves in sheep's clothing. And what he meant by that was that, again, Satan would take upon manifestations. A lot of time when he said wolves in sheep's clothing, we visualize naturally a wolf. You follow me? Or we visualize naturally a sheep. But that's not what he's saying to us when he says, beware of wolves in sheep's clothing. What he's saying is that the many manifestations of the devil are sometimes very difficult to see. Therefore, I want to talk to you again about how do you see him? How do you know that the devil is roaming around you? There's a scripture say, that Satan goes around like a roaring lion looking for those that he can destroy. So one of the behaviors of Satan is that he will put people in your life that create chaos. People in your life or in your surroundings that want to bring about a certain level of destruction. And remember that he's cunning. He's the most subtle beast Yahweh has made. I think you will see that in Genesis chapter 4. It states that Satan was the most subtle beast. Maybe it's Genesis chapter 2. Okay, but you can find it. And subtle means it's called wickedly wise. Wickedly wise. Now, when I share this with you again, and I go back to what I mentioned yesterday, he came and manifested himself in a different fashion towards me. Now, obviously, Satan is cunning. He's smart. And he will use your own faults against you. He will take and leverage things that you have done, things you have said. And he would, put his particular spin, never acknowledging, again, his own actions as it relates to, his ability to bring about accusation. In the book of Revelations, it talks about one of the angels said that Satan is constantly going before Yahuwah, accusing the brethren. So he'll never see himself. He will only see yourself. You follow me? So he's definitely about blaming, not so much, he's about, shaming and blaming, for lack of a better word, but never taking responsibility, for the role that he might play in the enticement of creating a certain level of, I'm going to give you this word and hold on to it, manipulation. Okay? So when you're looking at Satan, many times, again, don't always think that it has something to do with an action. Something bad happened. You got your lights cut off. The devil was at work. You got in a car wreck. Oh, the devil did it. What else we can talk about? You got fired from your job. Those things are not necessarily Satan manifesting himself. Those things would have to fall in the category of chance and circumstance. And as the scripture says, chance and circumstance happen to all of us. But at the same time, Satan or the devil, he's not concerned about chance and circumstance. He's more concerned about the power of influence around manipulation or using his cunningness to be able not only to bring about accusations against you, the believer, your follower, but also to put, a particular spin on it that makes himself, appear as the victim. Again, a wolf in sheep's clothing. All right. And so, yes, I had my experiences, yesterday without giving further details, and I won't give any additional details about it. but it did happen. It used my shortcomings against me without recognizing its shortcoming, and then exploited those shortcomings to bring about a certain level of chaos. It wasn't successful, but that was definitely the attempt and the mindset of the devil in its manifestation. Okay? But let's go a little bit farther into this, because you know how I am, guys. There's no sense for me to bring any so-called truth to you that's labeled my truth. There's an old saying, there's your side of the story, his side of the story, and then there is the actual story. So I don't want to talk about my side of the story or the other side of the story. I want to talk about what the scripture teaches us from the word of Yahuwah, what is the truth, okay? So let's go into our history book, okay? This is our storybook, we talk about it all the time, all right? The cipher, the book. So, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you some verses, okay, just to bring about an opening of understanding. So if you stay with me this far, don't let anybody persuade you to disconnect or to move, because Satan did threaten me yesterday. I'm going to damage the channel, okay? Fine. If I got one person listening, then they weren't successful. How about that? If one of you guys are listening, then Satan's action to destroy this channel was unsuccessful. So praise be to Yahuwah. All right? Anybody else that left, good riddance. How they always say, use their word, Godspeed to you. All right? Because this is a learning channel. It has nothing to do about me, my personality, or my character flaws. This is a learning channel, because I learn from this channel as much as I teach from this channel, okay? That's why I'm always in the book, and I'm studying to bring forth the knowledge and information that I share with you. Never ever going to hear me say I am perfect. Oh, and by the way, as a side note, for the white listeners out there, I think you would have to agree. I've never said all white people are the devil. And if anybody misinterpret, well, first, you can't misinterpret what I never said. I said there are bigots and racist white supremacists out there that are rotten, no good, flea-infested, dirty, rotten dogs who are going to go straight to hell. That's what I said. White supremacists who leverage white privilege to exploit and harm others around the world, as well as the native copper-colored Hebrew Israelites right here on Turtle Island. That's what I said. You have never heard me say I hate all white people. Because I don't. That's foolish, it's asinine, and there have been many whites throughout the history of our oppression here in this country that have died and shed blood for the Hebrew Israelite, the so-called Native American copper-colored Aboriginal. Many of them have lost their lives standing and fighting, lost their families, lost their reputation, lost their resources, lost their access, lost their white privilege standing for people of color and other underprivileged people in this country. So don't tell that lie on me. You'll never ever hear me say I hate all white people or all white people are evil. That's a damn lie. A whole bunch of black ones are a hell of a lot more evil than many white ones that I know. And yeah, I do know some wicked, rotten white ones as well. But that's not what I'm talking about. But you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, as they say. Okay? So no, I am not a bigot. Only a bigot would say all white people are evil. All right. Sorry for that little quick rant, but let's get back into the core message here. So let me give you a couple of verses of scripture so you can better understand when I give you a breakdown or examples of what temptation looks like versus what blessings look like. Because I think many of us are confusing the two. There are many people, wolves in sheep's clothing around you. Oh, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I am blessed. I know the Most High is with me because look what I got. Okay, so we need to understand, was that a blessing? Or is that some form of manipulation used to tempt us into something, or to entrap us into something, because they realize that shiny things typically get the attention of sometimes the feeble-minded, weak-minded, or those who can be easily distracted, or those who are suffering or going through a particular, transition, and they're just looking for a safety net. And the devil will spot you, on the dime. He'll spot you, he'll spin on a dime and spot you. You follow me? He can spot you from 1,000 miles away when you're in that state. So you have to be wise, you have to be careful, and you have to know what he looks like and how he's going to come at you. And we're going to get into that if you just give me about another 5 minutes, okay? Thank you, and I really do appreciate your patience. Okay, I'm going to go first with the book of Genesis, And I'm going to start at chapter 3. Oh, and by the way, that scripture on Satan being the most subtle beast, wickedly wise, that is Genesis chapter 3. Okay? Matter of fact, it's verse 1, chapter 3. How about this? How about I read it? Okay, it says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahweh Elohim had made. Now, subtle means they're slick, they're cunning. They wake up in the middle of the night. Someone told me recently that they had a sixth sense. Matter of fact, they went as far as to say all women have a sixth sense. And I'm going back and say, well, I don't know if all women have a sixth sense or that should be pinned to every woman. Because what do you mean by a sixth sense? Well, they can spot evil. What that means they are, what is that? What that they're sleeping and they're meditating and reflecting on? You know, and I don't want to go beyond my boundaries, because beyond my boundaries is to be able to clearly explain what a sixth sense is. I know it has something to do with instinct, but it shouldn't be some type of, well, I can tell something is wrong. Well, men can tell when things are wrong too. So I don't know how a woman necessarily claims that as their own, unless they're talking about some ability to be cunning. Okay, some ability to find chaos and exploit it. And now I'm not accusing all women of that. I'm just saying those particular women, if that's the way they're using their sixth sense, maybe that's what they mean by that. But he says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast which Yahweh Elohim had made. And he said unto the woman, yes, has Elohim said, you shall not eat of every tree of the garden? Question. And the woman said unto the serpent, now why is he talking to the devil? Why is this woman entertaining Satan? See, that's what I mean by you have to be real careful with this so-called sixth sense. Because if you're listening to things that are causing you to, feel some kind of way that makes you act in a way that's inconsistent with the way of Yahuwah, then you have to recognize that very easily can be Satan playing inside of your head, giving you the impression that somehow or another, your wisdom is above all wisdom, and that's how you know all things when they're not right. That's just flat out not true, okay? And I'm being respectful when I say it that way. I'm saying that respectful. I could say it another way, but I will never disrespect our women intentionally, even if they may be disillusioned or misguided, some of them, okay? As the men can be. He says, and then she says, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, she says to Satan. Now, she's having dialogue with him now. And women, if you're listening to me, men too, but women, if you're in this dialogue going back and forth with Satan in your head and you're entertaining that, the scriptures say resist the devil and he will flee. Not entertain. When these thoughts come to your mind that can be chaotic or can cause about destruction or it says a wicked woman tears down her house. A wise woman builds it up. When you're, being enticed by Satan, you better believe he's going to give you the instinct to be very, very destructive, because he is the leader of agents of chaos. Let me go on. Elohim has said, this is the woman, you shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die. And the serpent said unto the woman, you shall not surely die. For Elohim knows that in the day that you eat thereof, then your eyes will be open. See, that's the sixth sense. See, my eyes are open. My third eye, my pituitary gland. That's my instinct. That's my sixth sense. See, he's telling her, your sixth sense is going to kick in. All right? But he's deceiving her. Because if that sixth sense is there, it is not for this particular purpose. But it can be exploited and taken advantage of and utilized for this particular purpose. Satan telling you and putting things and things in your mind to cause, again, chaos. All right? Well, Elohim knows that in the day thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and you shall be like Elohim, knowing good and evil. You see what I mean? I knew something was going on. I knew something. See, that's that knowledge of good and evil that Eve allowed Satan to entice her with, and then she ran for it with a full head of steam. And then you had Eve and Jezebels and, and a whole bunch of other, women we know throughout the scripture that have put themselves in a position that compromise families and kingdoms in many cases, and surely have destroyed homes. All right? But let's come back. And he said, you shall be as Elohim, knowing good and evil. And the woman saw that the tree was good for food, that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desirable to make one wise. And she took the fruit thereof, and did eat, and also she gave it, and also unto her man with her, and he ate. So, not only did she allow Satan to entice her with the lust of the eyes, pride of life. I want to be just like Elohim. In other words, whatever he knows, I want to know, whether it's evil or not. Elohim never intended for us to know evil. And now some of us not only know evil, and now I'm talking to the men as well. So now some of us who know evil, we practice evil. We conjure spells, we conjure voodoo, witchcraft, we create paganistic holidays, occultic holidays, human sacrifice, the sacrificing of souls, the murdering of children, the confusion of gender. I mean, we are almost to the point, excuse me, that we have literally taken evil and made evil so monstrous that now we are awful funk in a disgusting smell before the Most High. Evil, not the good, the evil part of the knowledge of good and evil. We have shunned the good, and now we have embraced evil and taken evil to the pinnacle of what we call in today's world, you know what I'm saying? Evil. We have stretched it beyond all boundaries to the point that if the end is not if the end of man's time here is not near, then Yah Elohim have mercy on our children. That's my request to you, Elohim. If the end is not near, I ask Elohim to have mercy on our children, because what's going to be coming after this, I think it far supersedes anything that any of us could have ever dreamt or imagined. And I'm talking about desperately, diabolically wicked is where we are now. What's after that? Think about it. Okay, let me go give you two more. Again, if you stay with me this far, then I think you're comfortable enough, let me take you to a couple more. Again, bringing about validation. What is temptation? What does it look like? You just saw him tempting Eve with knowledge of being cunning or developing her sixth sense. Okay? And then also you saw the weakness of man easily manipulated by the woman with her sixth sense. It's no fault of hers, because he's supposed to be able to stand alone when it comes down to righteousness. But we have proven time and time again that we fall far short of that as men, especially the men of Elohim, the men of Israel and Judah. We have unfortunately been piss poor performance in terms of taking that stand and resisting the temptation that comes to us, whether it's by our women, or society as a whole. So brothers, I am not giving us any room for grace in this, because just like Adam should have resisted, I should have resisted anytime, wicked temptations have come upon me, or seducing spirits have come to me, or I allowed those spirits to tempt me into whatever it is I had fallen or have fallen into. You should also have taken the same. You should have resisted it as well as I should have. And because we have not, in many cases, not saying all the time, we are dealing with consequences, again, that are like an avalanche that's going to engulf civilization, because we as men left our posts because we were easily seduced by seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. But let me give you a little bit more on this particular matter. And I'm going to get through this fairly fast, okay? As a matter of fact, when I get to temptation and blessing, that's going to take me all of 1 minute, all right? I don't want you to think I'm going to belabor this farther than Yahuwah would have given me the mindset to do. Again, Satan threatened me yesterday. And, my first instinct was to cower down and to feel like, oh boy. And then, Elohim came to me in the power of the Ruach and said, I wish you would. You stand up, just like he told Gideon in Judges chapter 6. Get your behind up, mighty man of valor. Just because things ain't right, or just because you are erred, that does not mean that you're not my son. And no weapon formed against you will prosper. As a matter of fact, he said, every weapon formed against you, he said he will take that same weapon and give them double for the trouble. How about that? Or where is that, DFG? Go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, and read it for yourself, if you think I'm wrong. But anyway, back to the temptation. And it says, this is Matthew chapter 4, verse 8. And again, the devil took him. Now, this is the devil tempting Yeshua. And I want you to listen to this very, very carefully and hear what he tempted Yeshua with. So that when I give you, excuse me, examples of temptation, you realize that I'm not outside of the scripture. I am not outside of the truth, okay? Just so you know. Coming right there so I don't lose you. All right, just remember what Satan tried to tempt the man of Yahuwah with. Again, the devil took him up in an exceedingly high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them. That's chapter 4, verse 8, Matthew. And said unto him, all these things I will give you. Give him what? The kingdom of the world and the glory of those kingdoms. This is what he told him. How many people have you know that have all kind of wonderful things and high positions and a lot of resources and wealth, and they'll tell you, oh, they're blessed, that the Lord blessed them. That using their word, God blessed them. Wait a minute. I just read here that Satan can bless you. He said, let me read it to you again. You draw your own conclusion for what I'm going to read to you. Tell me what Satan is saying to Yeshua, who was the son of Elohim, or Yahuwah. This is what he told him. So you can imagine what he's telling people here amongst us and how they will use that against us. Again, wolves in sheep's clothing. Okay, he says, verse 8, and again the devil took him up into an exceedingly high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them. And he said unto him, all these things I will give you. Satan told Yeshua he would give him those things if you will fall down and worship me. See, a lot of these people have these things, guys, because they're in their cult. They'll never tell you. You know what I'm saying? But they're worshiping, idols. They're doing all kind of sacrifices. They're practicing, all kind of Freemason symbols and signs and what would you call these things when they get into an organization? Rituals. They're practicing all these kind of witch and wizard rituals. And they're coming out with all these things, and we're all looking at them and envying these things, not realizing these are agents of Satan. They got their wealth through bowing down to Satan, but they're not going to tell you. They're going to tell you God gave it to them. Because what they're not telling you is Satan is their God. They'll deny, they will lie. Oh, no, he isn't. Well, you ask them, then look at how they use their material. And look at their behavior behind it. Yeshua said you know a tree by the fruit that it bears. How about that? How are they using the things that they have? Do they flaunt it? Do they brag about it? Are they willing to cut other people out to get more? Are they willing to stab people in the back to have more? Swindle people out of it? Are they willing to do any of those things? Then they got it by devious means. In other words, Satan gave it to them because that's who they worship, their father. Like Yeshua told them over in, I think, in the book of John, chapter 8, verse 44. He said, your father is the devil. And his will you will do. That's what Yeshua, these people are worshiping Satan under the guise of Elohim or Yahuwah. Again, wolves in sheep's clothing. And then Yeshua said unto them, get thee behind me, Satan. And sometimes that's what you need to tell Satan when he comes at you with all these things. Well, do this for me, or do that for me, or do that to him, or do that to her. And you're listening when you should be saying, no, get thee behind me, Satan. I know who you are. Yeah, you are telling me something bad happened to you, but I know who you are. I've been knowing you for a long time, and I know what kind of person you are. So if it did happen to you, maybe Elohim used that particular person to tell you you had better stop doing what you're doing. It's all that old saying, it's the pot calling the kettle black. But he will tempt you with glory and power and wealth. If you see people that's got glory, power, and wealth, and that's all they're talking about, or they're leveraging that glory, power, and wealth to have influence, they got it from Satan. That's what I just read. Okay? Because if Yahuwah gave it to them, there would be a humble and meek spirit about them, and you would never know what they had. They would never come up, and they wouldn't harm or flee, let alone you or me. Let me go one more verse. The Lord's Prayer. Now check this out. This is Matthew chapter 6, verse 9. And this is how it starts off. It says, Our Father, who established Yahuwah in heavens, exalted is your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done in earth as it is in heavens. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our transgressions, as we forgive those who transgress against us. So in other words, I have faults, you have faults, we have faults. So we should never be holding each other false against them. Then he goes on to say, and lead us not into evil inclinations or temptations. You see what I'm saying? We should be saying, don't lead us into temptation. Lead us not into evil inclinations, third eye, sixth sense. But deliver us from that outer darkness. Okay? That's Matthew 6, verse 9 and 10 I just gave you. Now, with that said, that's all I'm going to give you from the book, from the word, but it's precepts. Line upon line, word upon word. Okay? And so you cannot say, I gave you 3 examples, precept on precept on precept, to back it up. And I gave you some additional, the story about Gideon, John 44, resist, and then also back, I think I want to say is, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, you know what I'm saying, no weapon formed against you. I can go on and on, y'all know that. I'll stop with that. But I've given you many precepts to back that up. But now again, the difference between temptations and blessings. So what was Satan saying to Yeshua on that mountain? All right? When he was fasting. This is what, when he said, I'll give you all the things and the glory, he was talking about giving him power. He was talking about giving him money. He was talking about giving him materialism, cars, houses, what else? Influence, allowing them to travel the world, knowing famous people, wealthy people. That's what he means, materialism. It's all about the bling, diamonds, and silver and gold. That's materialism, okay? Then manipulation. And you say, well, DFG, can you give me some more insight on manipulation? I just did. How does the Satan use manipulation? He uses their power. Those who are following are agents of Satan. They use their power, their money, and materialism to influence others. Manipulation. This is why you want to be with me. Because if you're with me, you can have this and you can have that. But what they don't tell you, you can get these things, but in return, you're going to give me your soul. I'm going to control you. See, that's the part that they don't tell you until you're so deep in it that you have no choice but to stay in it or fall into the abyss if they take it from you. And we've seen how that works. Okay? Manipulation. I'm still in temptation. Vain glory. In other words, my reputation. People know me here and near and far. That glory. Look who I am. I got this on my name or that on my name. You follow me? I've accomplished this. I'm known for this. You follow me? I'm the president of this. I'm the governor of this. I'm with this society. I'm with that secret society. I'm with this group. I'm with this fashion. I'm with this fraternity. I'm with this. All this vain glory that means absolutely nothing because they still shit and piss, and get sick like any other person does. Trust me on it. Beauty. They use beauty as temptation. Look at me. Look at my glamour. Look at me. You follow me? Look at what I did. You know what I'm saying? Look at how, everything from makeup to the way they wear their clothes to what they put in their heads, etc., etc., etc. I'm not saying that all women are using temptation when they are beauty. Some women are just naturally beauty anyway. I ain't talking about that. I'm not saying all women, but these who are using temptation to seduce, to be seductive, they use that. Their beauty, their glamour, and they're very sensual. You know what I'm saying? They're very sexy. They give you that little smile, that little wink. Very sensual. You follow me? Always suggestive when they're around men. When they see men coming, they get real suggestive. You know what I'm saying? They also get, and women, you know what I'm talking about. You got friends who change their whole disposition when a man comes in the room. Sensual. And then last, lust. Men and women, I might add. So let me be clear. Power, money, materialism, manipulation, glory, beauty, glamour, sensual lust. That's temptation. And guess what? Just to be clear, men use the same thing, or men are using temptation or used to tempt others in the same way. Satan is no respecter of persons. If it was up to Satan, there wouldn't even be a gender. Everything would be gender fluid. Gender fluid. If it was up to Satan, everything would be gender fluid. And as you see, that's what he's trying to create anyway right now. He's trying to get the whole world to be gender fluid, where you can't even tell the difference between a male and a female. All right? So those are the examples. Blessings. Because I think this is very important to know the difference. Because many people are telling you they're blessed when it's really, they have sold their souls. And they're using, and they're in that temptation of the things that I mentioned, they're using that and they're telling you, oh, that's my blessing. See, I have to be blessed because of my power, my money, my materialism, my glory, my beauty, my glamour, my influence, my sensuality, my lust for things, my desire for things. I'll do whatever I got to do to get whatever I want because that's what the Lord told me to do. Lie, 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 lie. Wickedness. All right? Blessings. Let's go. What are the blessings? Deliverance. Being delivered from evil. Whenever, you're blessed if Yahweh will remove you from evil. If you fall into evil and he picks you up, you're blessed. He said, a righteous man falls 7 times, he will pick him up 7 times. And if a righteous man falls, what does it tell you? That a righteous man can have faults too. Or a righteous woman can have faults too. But he said, I will pick them up because I know their hearts. Yeah, they may fall, but I also know I can count on them for great goods and great deeds whenever I call upon them. So, deliverance. Protection. How many times evil someone wants to harm us and Yahweh gives us influence or puts that shield around us where no weapon formed against us will prosper. They will manipulate. They will go to bed at night thinking of ways to harm us. They'll wake up early in the morning finding out ways to harm us. They'll come up early in the daylight and the dawn coming up with ways and the twilight coming up with ways. But Yahweh said, no weapon they may form against you, gonna prosper. And he said, every tongue, everything that they say, every evil word they say against you, he's gonna judge them for it. In other words, he's gonna give them double for what they said against you. He's gonna double it up on them. That's why you should watch what you say about other people, just because you're angry, upset, or mad. And blessing, again, he will give us influence, but good influence. You know what I'm saying? Influence where that we could be like a seed that could bear forth many, many grapefruit that outgrow us. Influence. Patience. That we don't jump to the gun. Patience means that we're tolerant. You follow me? We're willing to accept others. As he said, forgive us our transgressions as we forgive those who trespass against us. See, that's called patience. Forgive us our transgressions as we forgive those who transgress against us. Again, patience. Honorable means, in other words, you can count on them when the rubber meets the road. Again, we're not talking perfection. We're talking about they're honorable men and honorable women. Wisdom. The scripture says, if any man lack wisdom, James, I think it's chapter 4, said, chapter 1, said, let him ask Yahuwah, who will give to that man, gracefully if he's looking for wisdom, if his heart is right. But if he's using that wisdom to be manipulative, for that third sense, that third eye to do wicked deeds, he'll never get that wisdom. Because Yahweh cannot be tempted with evil, neither he tempt any man with evil. That's James also, chapter 1. Vision allows you to see not only where you are today, but beyond where you are today. Generosity. You care about others. You will never take advantage of others. You will never manipulate from others for self-gratification, self-edification, self-grandiose. You'll never see, when the blessed of Yahuwah, their generosity is almost never seen. You'll never know the wonderful and the goodness of their heart unless you happen to be someone who was in their pathway, who had received that generosity. And last, love. And when I say love, I'm talking about love is patient, love is kind. You know what I'm saying? You go to 1 Corinthians chapter 13, it'll tell you what love looks like. It envies not, it suffers most, it's not easily angered, it's not bitter. You follow me? Read 1 Corinthians chapter 13, and it tells you what love is. That's the love. If you got that love, then you're being blessed. So when you look at the two, temptation versus blessing, okay? Because I can assure you, when they're manipulating, they're not thinking about delivering. They're not talking about protection. They're not talking about honor. They're not talking about wisdom, vision, generosity. They're not talking about any of that. It's all about them. And if you do anything to them, they will do everything in their power to destroy you. Because that's what Satan is. He's the father of destruction and chaos and mayhem. And anybody who walks that way under the justification because something went wrong, something happened in life, Those are agents of Satan. They're wolves in sheep's clothing. And as the scripture told us earlier, you need to resist them. As Yeshua told him in the mount, get thee behind me, Satan. And that's what I'll say to you today. Satan and every agent that you have, every wolf you have, get thee behind me, Satan. And by the way, every word that you speak against me, Yahweh is going to give you double for your trouble. Now that was me, you know. Hey, I'm human, only human too. You know, hopefully you take what you heard me say, and if you got demons around you, hey, do the same thing I'm doing. As Paul said, follow me as I follow Yahuwah. I'm only following Yahuwah. And I know that's what he said to do. That's what I'm doing, okay? Be a doer of the word, not only a hearer. Love you guys. DFG. Man, I'm perspiring. This must be hot. All right, guys. Love you. Talk to you soon. So my one listener, thank you. I appreciate you. Bye now.